The sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across Los Angeles. The cityscape transforms into a canvas of twilight hues, where the golden light fades into deep purples and blues. Palm trees sway like graceful dancers, their silhouettes etched against the dimming sky. They stand as silent witnesses to the city's ever-changing narrative. The air crackles with the promise of fame and fortune. Neon signs flicker to life, illuminating the streets where dreams are born and sometimes shattered. This is Hollywood, a beacon of glamour and dreams. Here stars are made and legends are born, but not without a price. But beneath the glittering facade lies a darker truth. In the shadows of the bright lights, secrets fester and grow. Los Angeles has always been a city of secrets. From its early days, it has harbored tales of ambition and betrayal. A city where whispers of power and corruption mingle with the scent of jasmine and salt water. The ocean's roar and the city's hum create a symphony of contrasts. A city where the line between fantasy and reality blurs under a blood-red sunset. As night falls, the city dons a different mask, one of mystery and intrigue. Los Angeles wasn't built on dreams alone. It was forged by the hands of those who toiled in its streets, constructing a metropolis from the ground up. It was built on ambition, greed, and the relentless pursuit of power. Deals were made in backrooms and fortunes were amassed in the shadows. And in the shadows, a different kind of dream thrived, one that was fueled by the underworld, where the rules were different and the stakes were higher. The American dream, twisted and corrupted by the mafia. They saw opportunity in the city's rapid growth and seized it with ruthless efficiency. This is the untold story of the Los Angeles Mafia, a story that has been overshadowed by the more infamous tales of New York and Chicago. A tale of ruthless ambition, hidden influence, and the price of power in the City of Angels. The Los Angeles Mafia operated in the shadows, their influence felt but rarely seen. Their story isn't etched in the bullet-riddled history of New York or Chicago. It's a quieter story, one that unfolded in the sun-drenched streets and quiet neighborhoods of Los Angeles. A story of infiltration and insidious control. They embedded themselves in the city's fabric, influencing everything from politics to entertainment. Their influence seeped into the city's fabric like poison. It touched everything. Hollywood, politics, labor unions. No corner of the city was left untouched by their reach. Even the seemingly untouchable world of dreams wasn't immune. The film industry, with its glitz and glamour, was another arena for their machinations. This is a story of men like Jack Dragna, a man who saw the potential in Los Angeles and capitalized on it with ruthless precision. A ruthless operator who saw opportunity in the burgeoning metropolis. He built an empire in the shadows, one that would influence the city for years to come. He brought his own brand of organized crime to Los Angeles, a brand that was marked by violence, corruption, and an unyielding quest for power. It was a brand that would leave its mark on the city for decades to come. The legacy of the Los Angeles Mafia is one of shadows and secrets, a hidden chapter in the city's storied history. Jack Dragna, a name that would soon become synonymous with the underworld of Los Angeles. The name itself sounded dangerous, evoking a sense of dread and foreboding. Like a whisper from a forgotten nightmare, it carried the weight of fear and respect. He wasn't a flashy gangster like those who grabbed headlines in the East. He was a strategist, a mastermind who preferred to operate behind the scenes, a cunning operator who understood the power of shadows. Born in Sicily, a land steeped in the traditions of the Mafia, he brought the traditions of the Sicilian Mafia, known as Cosa Nostra, to the sun-drenched streets of Los Angeles. The city was a melting pot of cultures and opportunities. Dragna arrived in Los Angeles in the 1910s, a time when the city was still finding its identity. He was a small, wiry man with a sharp mind and even sharper ambitions. His eyes always seemed to be calculating, always planning the next move. He saw a city ripe for the taking, a place where he could build an empire from the ground up. A city where law enforcement was still finding its footing, struggling to keep up with the rapid growth and influx of new residents. A city where a burgeoning film industry offered endless opportunities for profit and exploitation. Hollywood was just beginning to shine, and Dragna saw the potential to control it. He quickly established himself as a force to be reckoned with, a man who could not be ignored. He consolidated power, gathering around him a crew of loyal soldiers. These were men who shared his vision and were willing to follow him without question. They were men who understood his vision, men who were willing to do whatever it took to achieve his goals. They were bound by loyalty and a shared sense of purpose, men who were willing to do whatever it took to achieve his goals. They operated in the shadows, just as Dragna had taught them. Dragna's reign was marked by violence, but it was a different kind of violence than that employed by the East Coast mob. It was a quieter violence, more surgical, more calculated. The East Coast mob was known for its brazen acts of brutality, but Dragna preferred a more subtle approach. It was a quieter violence, more surgical, more calculated. He knew that overt displays of power could attract unwanted attention. Dragna understood the importance of discretion. He knew that to maintain power, he had to operate in the shadows, away from the prying eyes of law enforcement and the public. He knew that to maintain power, he had to operate in the shadows. His operations were shrouded in secrecy and his moves were always calculated. He forged alliances with corrupt politicians and businessmen. These alliances were crucial to his success, providing him with the protection and resources he needed. He infiltrated labor unions, using them to extort money from businesses and control the flow of goods and services. This gave him immense power over the city's economy. And he set his sights on Hollywood, sensing the immense wealth and influence that the film industry offered. He saw the potential to control not just the city, but the entire entertainment industry. Sensing the immense wealth and influence that the film industry offered, he knew that Hollywood was the key to his empire and he was determined to seize it. The Los Angeles Mafia operated differently from their East Coast counterparts. While New York and Chicago were defined by bloody gang wars and high-profile hits, the LA mob preferred a more subtle approach. They understood the importance of blending in, of operating in the shadows. Their power lay in their ability to influence, to coerce, to operate unseen. Extortion was their bread and butter. They preyed on businesses, both large and small, demanding protection money. Those who refused often found their businesses vandalized, their employees threatened, or worse. The fear was palpable, a silent threat that hung over the city. The LA mob also had a knack for infiltrating legitimate businesses. They used these businesses as fronts for their illegal activities. From nightclubs and casinos to construction companies and trucking firms, their tentacles reached into every corner of the city's economy. They were masters of manipulation. They used their influence to bribe politicians, judges, and law enforcement officials. This corruption ran deep, ensuring that their criminal activities went unpunished and their empire remained intact. They thrived in the shadows, their power growing with each passing year. Hollywood in its golden age, a place of shimmering lights and even more shimmering promises. The streets were paved with dreams, and the air was thick with the scent of ambition. Stars were born overnight, and fortunes were made and lost with the roll of a camera. The allure of fame and fortune drew countless hopefuls to the city, each one dreaming of seeing their name in lights. But behind the glamour and the glitz, a darker force was at work. In the shadows, away from the flashing cameras and adoring fans, sinister figures plotted their moves. The Mafia had set its sights on Tinseltown. They saw an opportunity to expand their empire and exploit the burgeoning film industry for their own gain. They saw the potential of the film industry. The vast sums of money flowing through it were too tempting to resist. The vast sums of money flowing through it. The film industry was a goldmine, and the mob wanted their share. The power it wielded over the hearts and minds of millions. Movies were more than just entertainment. They were a powerful tool for influence and control, and they moved in using their ruthless tactics to gain a foothold. They were experts in intimidation and coercion, and they applied these skills to Hollywood with devastating effect. They infiltrated labor unions, particularly those representing actors, writers, and directors. By controlling the unions, they could control the industry from the inside. They used their control over these unions to extort money from studios and manipulate casting decisions. Studio executives found themselves at the mercy of these powerful and dangerous men. Stars who refused to play ball often found their careers mysteriously stalled. Promising careers were derailed, and dreams were shattered. The mob also used Hollywood as a front for their other illegal activities. The glitz and glamour of the film industry provided the perfect cover for their nefarious operations. They laundered money through production companies, skimmed profits from box office receipts, and used studios to distribute their illicit goods. The film industry became a key part of their criminal empire and used studios to distribute their illicit goods. The lines between legitimate business and criminal enterprise became increasingly blurred. The line between the silver screen and the criminal underworld became increasingly blurred. Hollywood was no longer just a place of dreams. It was a battleground for power and control. The influence of the mob was felt in every corner of Hollywood. From the backlots to the boardrooms, their presence was undeniable. They had their hands in every aspect of the industry. From the backlots to the boardrooms, their presence was undeniable. Studio executives, directors, and actors all felt the weight of their influence. They were the unseen force shaping the destiny of the movie capital of the world. Their reach extended far beyond the silver screen, affecting every aspect of life in Hollywood. Their grip on Hollywood was tight, and their influence would continue for decades to come. The legacy of their control would leave an indelible mark on the history of Tinseltown.